The document library, it's been part of Caseware forever. I don't know how many of you use it, but it really is a handy dandy shortcut, because what it does is let you bring in working papers and letters without having to go through the whole copy components wizard. So you don't have to go file, copy components, copy from, copy to, clearing options and all that stuff. You could just say, give me this and stick it in. So we want to make sure you're familiar with this tool, and it's actually quite easy to use. So what we're going to do, and our slides list all these steps, but we're going to do it together here, is in Caseware, click on the Tools tab, click on Templates, and here's where we designate a master file as a template. Now, just doing that is useful in itself, because when you use the copy components, it'll say, okay, well, here's one of your templates. Perhaps you want to copy from that. So that does save you some time. I'm just going to click on Add. And I'm going to use, I'll use the full mast, for example. So I'll just click on that. So now it would be a source on copy components, but we're going to go further than that. I'm going to select it here, click Properties, and this is the key here, is I'm going to select this template can be used as a document library. Okay, and we'll see what that does. So I'll click on OK, click on OK. Now, we know that under the Home tab, this is where we can add different kinds of documents to the document manager. But here we go. This first one is the document library. From library, when I click the drop down, notice it now says full mast. So we can have as many of these as we want. And a file might just be, for example, Word and Excel. Maybe it's PDF forms that we want to be able to just bring in quickly. You could just add that as a template. So I'm going to click on full mast here. So now what it does is it brings up sort of a little index for me of the documents that we find inside of full mast. Notice that you can filter for certain properties. So you don't have to see them all. You could see just things that meet a certain criteria. Now, what we're able to do here is take a document from this document library, position ourselves on the actual document manager within the client, and we can use this add button, which would take this document and move it onto here. Nice and easy, okay? The other thing that we could do is we could take a document and we can drag it and drop it onto the document manager wherever we want. Super easy, right? So the advantage of this then is we're not going through that big wizard. The thing to be aware of though is that this is not the same as copy components. So if we were to drag and drop a document which is already in here, for example, I see that the envelope is here already, and I drag one in, that actually does not replace the one that's already there. What it does is it increments the document identifier. Now that's an issue because that document is not in the resource center, only the original one would be. So just be careful. If you're going to use a document library, just make sure you're bringing in documents which are not already in the engagement. If you use copy components, remember that warning that comes up and says you're about to overwrite documents that may already be in there. Well, just keep that in mind, that is a difference. You know, this can be very useful if I'm bringing in spreadsheets or Word documents and I want variants of that, fine, that works great. So this can be very useful. The other thing to keep in mind is do not bring in the Jazzit financial statement template using the document library, because one of the things that's also different about this library is that it only brings in the case view document. It does not bring in supporting files for things like formatting. So we need to use copy components if it's the first time you're bringing the financial statements in, not the document library. But all the other documents, you know, working papers, letters, even our checklists, they're all fair game for using the document library. I think it's a very handy little tool. Okay, so it is similar to copy and paste. I mean, I could have two CaseWare's open and drag and drop, but I think I really like how it keeps everything organized. So in this first slide then, we went under Tools, we clicked on Template, we chose the file that we wanted. In our sample here, it's GenMast. We clicked on Add to bring it in here. And then the key part to that was to click on Properties and then add that as a template available for the document library. And then we were able to just click the drop down and quickly access that set of documents. Okay, which is what we're doing right in here. So right away we can just, from the document manager, choose that. How's that, Lori? Did I get it all?
I think so. If there was one thing that I might want to add, it's just that you can also create a CaseWare file on its own that just has commonly used documents like Word or Excel documents or PDFs. But for example, if there's a fillable form from CRA that you often have to access, you can put all of those on the document manager in this separate CaseWare file, and then list it as a document library. Now you have a central repository for all of those documents that people may want to access.
Yeah, it's really handy. And you know what's nice is even if I compared it to using like the File Explorer, I already have an index number. I already have a nice description on that document. So using the document library is definitely the way to go there.